I know everybody's wondering what the best DNA is for PvP and PvE. Well, I'm going to show you guys right now, okay? We're going to start off with PvP wise, okay? So let's just go along down the list here. We're doing this basically by like the cost of Robux, just in that order. Humans mid, mosquitoes basically useless. I would give crab useless as well, but it's basically like a slightly stronger human, so I'm still gonna put it in the mid tier. Some things that are decent is ice and cyborg. Now the reasoning why is because ice, when you use his M2 and M1, it's mastery based, meaning when you use the weapon mastery, like the abilities, and you use the actual DNA abilities, it also increases your normal damage of just hitting like left clicking and right clicking. So it's just really good for the beginning stages. Plus, when you go to PvP, you don't have to be max level to deal with a bunch of enemies. Cyborg is a bit lower down here. He does have a couple of good abilities. For example, he has this one ability that's called, I believe it's Heat Blast, which is basically just like a big blast. But overall, they're still like really good abilities. I mean, his passives are mid with the minus 15% fall damage and plus 15% health. But overall, he's still like, it's decent compared to like the rest of them. It's still like, it's pretty high up there. Now, when it comes to PvP, Giant and Esper are amazing. I would actually put Giant above Esper. And the reasoning why is because Giant typically is only good if you're playing against somebody who doesn't really know what's going on. Giant has a lot of grabbing abilities and a lot of abilities that like they're kind of like a wind up to say. So it's a little bit more difficult to actually like hit these abilities and actually like attack the enemies. Whilst Esper should actually be, I'd say Esper is above Giant. I think Esper would be above Giant because of the fact that it's really good because it has a counter. It has two ranged abilities and a third ranged ability that grabs them and pulls them towards you. And then if you end up using, like, for example, some swords, like, for example, Basento, which is the Whitebeard sword, you can actually do a really good combos. Giant is, again, not as good as Esper, but it's still overall really good, especially because of the fact that if you were to try to unlock Giant through the serums, you get it pretty often. And if you were to buy it through Robux, it's one of the cheaper options, and it's absolutely amazing. So Apex is going amazing, and the reasoning why it's not Limit Breaker and why it's not the best is mostly because of the fact that 2 of the 4 abilities are counters. If I remember correctly, one of them is they're gonna be like, again, like I said, 2 of them are counters, but one of them is a target, and the target is the flight ability. Okay, the flight ability basically allows you to like fly around, and this is why it's a really good DNA to be using, because you can like fly left and right, and you're actually able to catch people off guard, and there's most likely not going to be enough time for them to react or get away from you. But for all 4 of the abilities that he has, his final one, or not final one, but another one of them is Leap Smash, which is already from Giant. So for the most part, it's just overall not that good, considering it's 1500 Robux. Don't get me wrong, the minus 2% damage reduction, plus 10% melee damage, and minus 25% fall damage is really good. It's extremely good, but it's not as good as Alien. Alien has minus 5% damage reduction, minus 25% fall damage, so it's already better than Apex. And then it also has a 125% faster HP regenerating, rather than the extra 10% melee damage. And this makes it really good for also grinding wise. So that's why Alien's gonna be at the top. I can show you a combo here in just 1 second. I'll pop it up on the screen. You can see with Alien, I'm able to easily kill somebody who has basically max HP due to the fact that with all the combos, with all the abilities, and mixing it with Basento, you're able to do some pretty crazy things compared to the not as good DNAs like Crab, Human, Mosquito. in my opinion, if you were to roll and you wanted something for PvP, I would go for anything great or above. I wouldn't even stick with an ice or cyborg. All right. Now, when it comes to PvE, it's very different. I wouldn't say completely different, but there is a couple of factors that change and make it a lot easier. For example, with human, it's decent. Like if you're grinding with human, it's very like viable. Like you're able to use it and you start off with it, and it's just absolutely amazing for that fact. There's not really much I can explain about it, but yeah, it's decent to start off with. Mosquito again is absolutely terrible. Crab is also absolutely terrible as well, at least in my opinion. Giant is limit breaker. Like Giant is probably the best PvE DNA that there is, and it's because of the fact that the M2, like the little stomp pound thing, is the quickest one out of all the other M2s to my knowledge in the game as of right now. Ice, I wouldn't put it as much as amazing because its abilities are mid, but I would still put it as it's a good one to use. Cyborg is going to be a similar situation. It's better than human, but it's not better than ice, but it's still good. Like again, it's not the best out there, but it's still absolutely amazing. After Giant, there's also Esper that we have here. Esper I'm going to put in amazing, and again, the reasoning is the same for the ice ability. It upgrades the M2 and M1 damage by mastery, so you're able to do a lot of damage, and it's got like that pushback effect. Basically, whenever you left click or right click, you end up having this effect where it pushes them back, even for like the M1, which doesn't allow them to hit you, which is really good when you're grinding. Now, moving past that, I would say Apex is not as good as Esper for grinding because again, everything is M2 based, and the reasoning why is because his abilities, don't get me wrong, they're absolutely amazing. Like without a doubt, Apex's abilities are still good for if you're going to be using them for PvE and such, but it's just not nearly as good as Esper with the fact that her abilities are all like long range, so it allows you to grind way easier. And the same thing goes with Alien. It's difficult whether Alien is better or not than Apex for actually like grinding PvE wise, because Alien has multiple abilities that are AoE, meaning it hits multiple things at once, which is really good when grinding. But Apex has a bunch of counters, so if you're getting absolutely smacked, you can click one of the counters and you can fling the enemy away, and it's got another grab. But I just think Alien would be slightly better because of that HP regenerating. It just makes, since you're regenerating your HP at a much faster rate, you're able to get back into fighting quicker. So it's just better, I think. I think Alien would be better than Apex. But yeah, guys, that's everything. You can see here on the screen, this is the PvE tier list. If you guys think anything should be changed, let me know down in the comments. And if you guys are wondering if certain DNAs are good against certain bosses, like for example, I would say Alien is really good. Giant is really good against basically every boss. Esper would probably be better at those bosses that are slower, that you can like use your long range attacks, and then Alien and Apex would be more of like a faster type boss where you can like use your counters and grabs as well. And the rest of them, like most likely when you're using these, you're not going to be able to do that good when you're PvPing or PvEing, against bosses and such.